Welcome to the very first episode of my podcast or YouTube channel. I'm interviewing my grandfather, Santo Lomonaco.
Thank
Say
you
hi.
for the,
What up? How are you,
hi.
Nonno?
Thank
How
you
do
for
you?
the introduction.
You're welcome. How do you feel?
I feel very good,
You
especially
do?
when I hear talking to you.
That's good. So I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions about your life, about your success, and about I don't know whatever comes to my mind that I think is entertaining and I think is good value to give to people watching.
Thank you. You're free to do whatever you
You
can.
are. I have you.
Yes.
I have you. I'm holding you hostage.
Thank you.
All right. Ready? So I'm gonna ask you about your roots in Sicily. That's where you're from,
Yeah.
correct?
I'm coming from
So
a
tell
place.
me, where were you born?
I born in Castiglione di Sicilia, a very beautiful spot in the heart of Albero, close to the Etna, in between the Etna and the sea. A beautiful place where the volcano never can stop.
The volcano?
Never can stop shooting fire.
Oh.
Erupts all the time, and everybody sees that is a beautiful thing.
And what was
And I
it
love
like?
it too.
What was it like growing up there?
It was growing up in a hard country, like being a Sicilian. Sicilian, it's like a native country.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what are your earliest memory like from the village? Because it's like a village, right?
It is a village. It is an old village. It's about minimum is 3,000 years.
Wow.
A minimum. I think that it's even before that. It's old. It's nice. But when I left, there was about 5,000 people. And when I come back now, they are around 800 people.
And do you still have friends that are there?
Yes, I got a few friends about my age that they are still there living every time as we go. We enjoy staying together. We enjoy having a card game,
Scala?
a drink, a Scala 40, and we enjoy
Wait, you
life.
gotta explain what's Scala.
Scala is an Italian game that it's not everybody understands, but it's a Scala with 13 cards together, and then you have to close the Scala, and you enjoy the time. It's only to pass time. There's no money involved on it.
Nice. And what did your family do to survive?
My family, she
Yes.
was a business people. They were actually introduced in meat, selling meat, retailing, and they had a grocery. So we were business people, that they were trying to make a living.
Nice. And what kind of work did they do? So they were butchers.
They were how would you say, commercianti?
How do you say that?
Business people.
And how would you say life is different from Sicily to like in Canada now where you're from?
Look, my life is a dream. I was not dreaming to stay in Sicily or to stay always in one place. My first time in 1965, I went to New York for about a year.
1965. So how old were you?
I was around 17.
So you're a year before me right now. So I'm 18.
I was 17. I've been 17 in the States, in Norwalk, Connecticut, and I had a great uncle that is passed away.
And how old was he?
He was passed away. He passed at 89.
89. And
yeah.
What made you want to leave?
No, I couldn't stay there. I went there as a tourist, and then I spent my time with them. And after I went back to Sicily, I joined the army the time that I was there for a year. And once that I finished the army, I want to come back to the States.
So what was first? Was New York first?
Yes, that was my dream. But for a reason or another, I did some mistake at the time that I was there. I been 1 year, and I was supposed to stay around 6 months, so they didn't give me a visa. And I took a trip with the La Cristoforo Colombo, a nice boat.
Which is the Halifax.
It's a nice boat that I picked up in Messina, Sicily, and took 14 days before that we reach Halifax.
And how was that experience on the boat?
Beautiful.
Was it?
Everybody was sick. I was enjoying life. I was eating double food.
Nice.
I had the dream of my life because I never had that. I was free. I used to play saxophone with my friends.
So he also was in a band. This guy had a crazy life. So when did you start your band too?
Oh, I was young. Around 15, 16, 17, 18. Of we
So
I
tell me, what was first? Was the band in Sicily or was the band in New York?
No, was in Sicily.
Was in Sicily.
I had I used to play for il clarinetto,
The clarinet, no, the saxophone.
but I used to play clarinetto first, and
Okay.
after from clarinetto went to the saxophone. We went to play to the band, and after I had a small band on my own.
So what made you decide to leave Italy?
What made me decide to leave Italy?
Yes.
Italy is not a democratic country. Italy is a fuck up country.
A fuck up country.
Yes,
And
Italy,
why?
because Italy you don't need to be someone that you can do. In Italy you need to have friends. Then you can do. And if you have friends, you pass. You don't have no friends, you can pass. I was not that type. I want to do it on my own.
So you
And you
want to do it.
cannot do things on your own in Italy. You need someone to push it. You with a good push on your foot. You know someone, you're okay. You don't know nobody, you're nobody.
You're nobody there if you don't know
Even your
anybody.
father is not able to help you out because your father, sometime, he was shy to do whatever you were doing. And once happened to be that we had a big night al municipio di Castiglione di Sicilia. We went and we had a beautiful night because we played. Our small band was called the Big and the Small. We were too small, and the other three they were big, and we played all night. And in the morning when we left, the guards, the police over the city, they took all our liquors and the money that we made. It's a joke, but it's the truth.
That's crazy.
It's a joke, but it's the truth. The
And
whole city spoke about that.
and
And my father, because I told him to come there, I take the money. He said, no, 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 I don't get involved in these things. So
and how old are you at this time?
at that time, I was 19, I think.
And then when did you go to the army?
I did
At
19,
19. So then you went
19.
to the army.
I,
And
I did 14 months.
and how was that experience? How was the experience 14 months in the army?
But in the army, 14 months in Italy, the army was a joke. There was nothing that we were doing. It was a peace. It was not a war business like we heard these things there. We just were there to make exercises that we were doing in the army. We just were wasting money
Yeah, and
of the
killing
poor,
time in a way.
killing time. Nobody was paying me.
And
Nobody was giving you nothing.
what's a
Just
quick story you could say that
about
happened in the army? Something funny, something entertaining.
oh, in the army, there's a lot of stories. No, but there's no stories that you say. You fight all the time.
So you got into a lot of fights.
Yeah, you got a fight. They give you a punishment. They make you wash dishes. You wash dishes in a place, right? Then, but I tell you one thing. I worked for the la mensa ufficiale.
Say that. Let me pronounce that correctly. La mensa
Ufficiale
ufficiale. What does that
significa
mean?
where the officials they gonna go and eat. Where the best food it goes to the officials. It's high class, high
So
class,
like the
high,
higher class
high
people would eat
class,
the
high
food.
class people in Italy. But which even in here, you go alla mezza ufficiale, and I was to be the butcher because I was able to cut the meat 100% right.
So wait, you would kill the animals on the spot.
Yeah, but I was not killing animal there. I was killing the animal in Castiglione di Sicilia, not there. There I just was cutting meat.
So when so what came first? Did you cut the animals first, then you went to the officials?
But I cut animal when I was 10.
So you were always
Yeah,
counting.
yeah,
You were
yeah.
always cutting animals.
Yeah, I've been with my father involved on this. We were going, taking the animals, bring it in,
So
and
wait,
kill the
what
animal.
age were you butchering and killing animals?
From 15, 12, 13. I not even can remember all my
And
life.
what type of animals?
Bulls,
Bulls?
pigs.
Bulls with the horns?
Yeah, pigs. Sometimes one he wants to kill me. My father had to save me.
That's funny. So what do you think of first when you saw Montreal? So you came to New York,
Yeah,
and then why didn't you stay in New York? Why did you go to Montreal?
I couldn't go.
You couldn't stay in New York.
No, I went once that I want to come back. That I decided that I didn't want to stay in Italy no more, and I was not a guy like my friends that they want to go in Europe. Europe was not for me. It was not in my mind. I saw New York. I saw Norwalk, Connecticut. I saw the mentality that there is here in the States. I never want to go to Switzerland, to Germany, to France, wherever everybody was going around. I wanted to go west.
And how is the mentality in the States?
In the States, the mentality was beautiful. I loved it.
Like, what do you mean by, like, what type of mentality?
It was a family mentality where I went. I told you, I went with my uncle Salvatore Silvestro, and there was Giacomo, and there was Giacomo's family. They were kids, and we were all together, and we were enjoying life. We were laughing for anything we were making. We just were enjoying life,
And
and I remember that all my life.
well, that's good. That's the whole point of life, to make good memories, right? And what would you say is the hardest thing about starting over in a new country? Or starting over? You didn't have much, did you?
You reach, you just conversation. Life is a conversation. You reach, you talk. They gave me 15 days to get in the States, in Canada, in Halifax. I said, thank you very much, sir. He said, how much you have? I showed the money. I said, as soon as we finish, he said,
So how much did you have when you came to Canada?
I don't remember, but it was not a lot of money. Around $75.
75 bucks.
Yeah.
So that was, and you were how old?
20, 21, going to 22.
That's sauce.
Huh?
That's respect right there, right here.
You know?
So no. What was the first job you had in Canada?
I knew how to do butchery. Servicing people is very easy to find a job.
So you were very social.
Yeah.
Right?
But right away, after a few months that I've been here, I never even started being a butcher. I started being a salesman.
A salesman.
I understood. I was going home by home, and I understood the people, they needed someone to service them as a salesman. I showed them what it was here in Canada. And in Canada, they were buying. There was a lot of Italians. As soon as I reached, they brought me from Halifax to Montreal. They brought me in a street called Shabbat and Quartier.
Shabbat.
And Quartier.
And how far is that from where we are right now?
It's not far away from here. It's about 20 minutes car. And when I reached there, I saw all the people from my town, from Francavilla
So it's kind of like, it was like home all over again.
I reached there and everybody speaks Italian. And I see guys that I used to see them in Sicily. I said, this is my town. I don't need to go nowhere.
So it felt like home.
Felt like home. And I didn't need English. I didn't need French.
Well, you speak them all.
Now, before I didn't speak.
But you only speak Italian when you came to the
yeah,
to
and
Montreal?
a little English.
A little bit of English.
But once that I reached there, I came to Sicily. It was Sicily where I reached. In Chabot and Quartier in 1969, it was Sicilian.
A lot of immigrants?
Sicilian from my town and from the town, next towns to my town. I said, here I am. Welcome.
That's nice. Well, that's good. And how long were you selling houses for?
I sold a house for 2-3 years.
2-3 years?
I got married with my wife in 1973, and I sold the house up to 1972.
And how old were you when you got married?
I got married at 28.
You know, it's 28 years old.
Yeah.
And how would you think, like, how this generation is different when it comes to, like, marrying and just the generation now?
The generation is always the same. The mentality changes because life changes. Nothing to do with the change, like hearing the radio at the time, the television for a longer time. And after changes, those with the telephone in 1985, that you need a truck to carry a telephone, and you need a big box like that. And with the new technology, things, they change. And they change it for the best, not for the worst. Now, young generation, it's even smarter than the old generation. They pick up better things than the old generation, but they're a little bit lazier. They don't like it to work. So, because people, they do things not with their hands. They do things with machinery. They do things with the technology. They do things. They don't write and read at school no more. It's a different ball game. So the kids, they lost in a way because they are involved with the big money that people talks about on social media, on TV, on radio, on news. They're confused.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
agree with
know.
you.
They don't know how to make money the way the people they make money. But not everybody can make money. To make money, you have to work,
So how
and
did
you make the money today. In the long run, you have to put the seeds, and after the fruits, they're gonna come back. But if you don't put seeds, no fruits for nobody.
and no, how many business models or how many different businesses did you do?
Oh gee, I forgot about that.
Like what? Like what? Just name a couple.
But first of all, I used to play saxophone, and I used to go on the wedding.
The weddings.
Yeah, the wedding people they were getting the wedding in here. They at the time in 1969 up to 70, 75, 75, 76, 70, up to the 80s. People they were getting married like if it was a big 500 people in a hall. There were the halls that they were making. They were getting rich with the halls because people was getting married every day. There was
Yeah, everyone's getting married left and right.
yeah, and there was a big successful with the kids. They would be baptized. They would be come si dice crescimento? Communion. Uh, the priest they would have a kind of a hookup on the religion. When
Okay.
the priest was talking, people would listen. After they thing they change, they don't listen to the priest no more. They think they're there and they don't say the truth. And many people, even if they say the truth, they don't follow no more. They say you want something, you go and work like anybody else. And things they change, but life is didn't change at all. To me, life is always the same. The new generation, I don't think that is bad. The new generation,
Just
I think that
lazy.
is spoiled.
Just lazy. No work ethic.
Spoiled.
And what made you always not give up?
How can I give up?
A lot of people do.
I give myself a job. I never want to go working for nobody. How can I give up? I give up. I'm not there no more. I get no business no more. You have to do it on your own.
So what was the best business you did and what was the worst business you did?
The worst business it was when I was 60 people.
Let me fix this.
I had 60 people that work for me and I couldn't make a penny
And
for
what
me.
type of business was this? This
I was
was
to be a contractor, clothing. I used
clothing.
to make clothing for ladies.
So when you had the employees, that's
I
when
had
you got fucked.
two shifts, 30
Two
by day, 30 by night.
so two shifts, a day shift and a night shift,
Yes,
and you paying payroll would just cook
you
you.
would pay the payroll. You just have the comité parité. You just have all the governments coming along. You had the rent, the electricity, the gas, the truck, the whatever it was. At the end of the year, at the end of the week, we had no money to go and make the grocery with my wife.
You and Nonna. And
Yeah,
how old were you?
that was 70 in 1975.
Wow.
1975.
And you left being a salesman for real estate to do this,
Yeah,
and that was a big mistake.
very big mistake.
Why didn't you stick to real estate?
Because I'm crazy.
Because you wanted to taste a little bit of everything.
I thought of being an industrial. I thought of being a guy in industrial that having people that working for you would be a fantastic thing because I think that I would be a good leader to make something new. But I didn't realize in what country I was living. I was living on the country of the sleepers. How do you say
Hey, watch out.
sleepers? How do you say the sleepers in
The
people that they
sleepers.
want to sleep?
Homeless people?
Huh?
Homeless people?
No, the sleepers.
Do you know what he's talking about?
The people that they
Wait,
like,
don't click the button.
the the people that they likes to sleep. The lazy people. People here, they just they just relies on one thing. Le gouvernement's supposed to pay.
What'd you say?
Le gouvernement's supposed to pay.
The government.
Yeah. And if it there,
Well, also people for welfare.
that's very like welfare. You have to understand one thing that in Canada, it's like in Italy, the government is Your father, the one that gives you money, the one that knows how to take the money of your pot, because they
Well,
give
aren't
you,
they your partner?
that's partner for the business. But even from the one that works, gives you in one hand, it takes it from the others. You don't take the money from this pocket and put it in this pocket. They give it to this pocket. They take it from the other pocket.
So they
So
just win.
you're gonna be free, paying taxes. They attach something in your head. You walk, 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 and you never can reach.
And you can't reach doing what again? You said you could never reach.
Not if you're working for somebody.
So you got to be your own boss, an
You,
entrepreneur
an entrepreneur.
like yourself.
That's what you. That's I'm answering to you. Why don't you stop? I can't stop because if you stop, you're dead.
And when did you realize, at what age did you realize you have to work for yourself and not, be somebody's bitch and work for somebody else?
But I never working for nobody.
Yeah, you're right to even think about it like that.
I never get used
But
to
like
work for
some
someone.
people, I guess some people would just like work for somebody because they don't know any better. Like, how did you know any better on the get go?
You see, there's one thing. Working for somebody, it's a beautiful thing and a stressful thing. Working on your own is a fantastic thing, but you have to find your own work.
And you
So
have to be disciplined though, because if
no,
you don't
you have
have,
to work 24 hours a day. Even when you sleep, you're working.
what do you mean when you sleep you're working?
You sleep, you go to sleep, and you think if you forget the door or close or the door open or the alarm on the CC you didn't put it on or the lady did go and clean. Or when you work on your own, it's 24 hours.
So what do you do now?
Now I'm supposed to be retired, but I never can retire.
Because you're always working.
I am always
Would
working.
you say working keeps you young?
I don't know. Not my doctor doesn't say that. My doctor says not to work too much, but not to leave the work alone too.
So then how did you, scale and build the real estate you have
Working,
working?
yeah. Using you barely going around buying property as cheap as you can, renewing the properties, make them in a nice way, getting the rent, and with the time, it's like when you plant seeds, they give fruits.
So no, no, explain what you do like you're trying to explain it to like a baby. Like very simple.
If this is the thing that you want that I explain you,
Yeah.
okay, I explain you that when I started with the real estate, I left the real estate as salesman, but I never left the real estate because I knew that I made a big mistake. But I've been not able to come back to real estate. But I never left the real estate. I went to real estate to buy real estate and become the landlord.
So not just the agent, you want to be the
The
landlord.
landlord. And then once that I was the landlord, I become an investor. I used to have apartments. I used to buy apartments. I used to service the apartment. I used to collect the rent. I used to pay the mortgages. And with the time, I used to sell one to buy another one. And that's where it's going.
And
And
it's just that over and over again, being
that's
smart.
the way the business is going. But it's always based on hard work.
Yeah. So your work ethic. That's
No,
what
I'm
people
not
would.
a work ethic, but it's I
No, I
would
mean you have good work ethic. That's
yeah
what people would say. I mean,
yeah.
come on, you
But
work all the time.
you have to work to make these things because I tell you, if you work on your own, you cannot be lazy.
So what's a message you have to give for people that want to make money, young, and that are lazy?
I'll tell you. You want a message for people that they want to make.
Tell them.
You want me to tell you whatever I think that you have to make money. If you think that you have to go in real estate, you need a real course from an old man. It might be me, it might be somebody else, someone that tells you the truth. And if you listen him very well and you are on a way that you want to follow this path, you just go and look for him. He teaches you what to do and you will not miss it. You will make money, maybe from today starting. In 20 years, you're going to be a millionaire.
Mic drop. You have good wisdom. A lot of people would pay for your knowledge. Did anybody tell you you'd fail?
My wife.
No, no, you thought he'd fail? No, but for real.
My wife told me many times that I did mistakes because I played the market.
Oh, and how was playing the market?
Very stressful, especially when you lose.
Yeah. And what? When did you lose?
in the 2000,
A lot of people lost a lot of shit in the 2000.
because the government is involved, or else you don't lose.
What do you mean?
They made a balloon.
The .com.
Yes, they made a balloon. The balloon was there. The young people, they were there.
Like you.
A night you make $100,000. One night I made $135,000. She said, "So sell." I said, "In a night, 135. Tomorrow we're gonna make $500,000. Tomorrow we lose to you
Oh
know what I
fuck.
mean?"
Yeah.
So it's not that. And but you take your winning, you take your losses,
You win
and
some,
you
you
lose
lose some.
some. You cannot make them all. But the
But
problem
but
is
you
that,
learn from, your experience,
yeah. But when you lose, you have to start all over again.
which you did at what age?
I think that was 55.
So 55, you started. They got to understand that you started from the ground up at 55 years old. Like a lot of people, I'm pretty sure would just kill themselves. Like you know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't have the fucking balls you got. So like, what made you not want to give up?
Because I thought that I
Some
could.
people think 55, my life's already over. Like I'm
But
55.
I
Like
thought
what
that
the
I
fuck?
could make all over again. It's all money. If
See,
I
but
could,
that's the mindset you have that took you from here to there.
yeah. But
Not a lot of people
if I
got
could
that.
have make it when I was on the boat, or I had nothing and I shoot in Piatello,
What's the Pilotello?
you
The
shoot
disc. Oh, the
the
disc.
disc
The
I
disc
shoot,
with the
and
shoot.
I had the only left money to shoot it. I was a gambler. If I wouldn't catch it, I couldn't eat. Then that's the last money I had. I shoot it anyway.
Yeah.
So I said, it's only money. Go back to work again.
And how long did it take for you to like really, feel good again?
You see, in the 80s, everybody was going bankrupt with real estate. In 1987, it
Closed.
was a bust. I took all the keys of my real estate and I brought to the bank. I said, "Here, I don't want your properties no more."
And this was after the market? After the bubble?
No, no, before 1987.
Oh, and the bubble was the 2000.
Yeah,
And why
1980s.
didn't you want your real estate?
Because I couldn't rent. The interest rate, they were 20%, 21%, 14.
Maleducad.
Maleducat. $100,000, you pay $21,000 to them, to the bank. And then we couldn't make it. The rent, they were low. People, you would go to people to the apartments. Apartment empty. There was nobody. You had to rent the apartment. It's truth what I tell you.
Nana, do you remember that?
So I took my keys.
And wait, how was having a lovely wife to be there by your side the whole time?
Oh, she was always fantastic. She was
Important?
always supporting me. Doesn't matter that we were arguing when things they were hard, but we were always supporting. We were not used to a lot of money.
But
We
didn't
were
that
used,
help you even like financially to have a support at home?
sure that we were leaning on each other. We were leaning on each other when things they were really bad. We were just leaning on each other. What do you want to do?
So no, what advice would you give to young people?
Look, my advice is I can give you whatever I know. I cannot give whatever I don't
But
know.
like just what would you tell yourself when you're 18?
To go on and make money.
To go on and make money.
Yeah.
And wait, did you even go to school? I think people don't even know. Did you go to school?
I have 8th grade.
So when did you stop going to school?
When I left Italy.
So what grade was your last grade at school?
8th.
8th grade. So
5
middle
they are
school.
elementary, and 3 they are
5, 6. So middle school.
middle school.
Middle school.
That's it.
And you knew you just wanted to make money.
But if you tell me, I don't want to say in there. If you tell them how to write and read, I don't know.
All right, we're gonna make it quick now. We're gonna end it with a couple questions about Sicilian wisdom and humor. What's one Sicilian saying everyone should know?
What's one Sicilian?
What is one Sicilian saying? Yeah, no, no, you give me a shit ton all the time.
Mm,
What's one saying that everyone should know?
I understand the question.
Mom, how do I explain this?
Why why I should supposed to say
A saying
che lo dico io sempre?
that you think people should know.
Che a meglio morto che a morto sotterraneo.
And what does that mean? And translate it.
Translator means that anything you do, you have to decide on your own. And if you decide that it's yes, you go in.
You
Like
stick to your gut.
like that it's when you have to go in the swimming pool.
You jump.
You look if there's water. You don't know how deep it is, but if you don't go in, you never know if you reach. Then you have to go and you have to try it.
All right.
But perseverance is very important.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Because once that you know to do something, once that you learn, you cannot stop in the middle. You cannot change your mind. If you think that this is good, you have to go ahead up to the end.
So you have
And
to
then you
finish
see,
finish strong.
yeah, and then you see if really you can go, you can make the tour over the wheel, the tour over the hill. You know what I mean? Because if you stop,
Then what? You're just a lousy piece of
you
shit.
just end around for nothing. That's
And
what.
what? There's no point. Like at
Yeah,
that point, like what's the point if you stop?
yeah.
Right?
But that's the way. You don't have to stop. I
But a
knew
lot of people do stop
I
though.
knew a lot of people that they were sognatori.
Signatori?
Sognatori.
What is that?
Sono un sognatore.
You gotta translate that for me.
People that they dream.
Dreamers.
I had a friend of mine, which
But
was a very, very big friend of mine, a close friend of mine. He passed away. He was a big sognatore. I had a
no, no.
brother-in-law.
I would say I'm a dreamer. I'm delusional.
I had a brother-in-law.
But no, no. You were delusional.
I had a brother-in-law. While while Mario was a sognatore, my brother-in-law was counting the money of the others. You cannot count the money of the others. You cannot count the money when you play on the cards and you're sitting on the table. You count the money when you stand up and leave
Why?
because the money on the table doesn't belong to you. The money on the table is from the table and stays on the table. When you leave and you leave the casino, you got the money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Up to when you're there, the money doesn't belong to you.
It's the house.
It belongs to the house. So depends on what person you're talking to. Mario was a sognatore. He was dreaming that he was a rich man. This is a friend of mine. My brother-in-law was another friend of mine. It was not only my brother-in-law, it was my dear friend. He was counting the money of the others. And there was people in between the group that I knew, they were showing that they had a lot of money. They had not a lot of money.
So they're all a show.
Yeah. And they were asking me all the time, I was saying, okay, how much you make? A little bit. I never show that. And didn't make me rich, didn't make me poor. But nobody ever came after me thinking that I was rich. But I didn't realize. But my son told me many times, you're a rich man. I still couldn't reach. You are the guy that you buy the Mercedes. The others, they cannot buy the Mercedes. And it was true. I was going there, give them the money about a Mercedes. But I didn't ever felt that I was rich.
And why do you think that is?
Because
But you know what?
this is
That's
personal.
a good thing though.
This is personal.
But that's a good thing because it always made you want to keep going.
Yeah, this is
You know?
personal.
What's
You
mine?
think all the time that you go ahead. You never want to stop. Now I tell you one thing. I have a friend that still lives, and he stopped at 40 years old. And when we met about 20 years ago, he was telling me, "Why do you work?" And he was criticizing me, "Why do I work?" Because I was doing all the service on my properties. And I said, look where I work. I have the properties. We just drop them, sell them, make money. I didn't drop them. I have my properties. They give me money. I make $1,200,000 a year gross. Belongs to the government. Don't
The
don't
government
don't
fucking.
mess me up. But now we're together with him. It's like a scene.
What's a not short
No,
scene?
no, no more te fan.
What does that mean? No,
Means
these
that
people aren't Italian. You gotta translate it for them.
means that the guy looks at his penny because they live with a pension, and once that you live with the pension,
But you
you
can't get the fucking pension.
they don't give it to me
Why?
because they say that I make too much money.
At least that's a good problem.
That's a good problem,
That's a good problem to have. Um,
and that's truth. I gotta. Can I talk?
speak, speak your mind.
This friend of mine, you know him because he came to Deerfield Beach and slept to our house, Mario. For 5 years was bugging me. Why do you work? Why do you do this? I left when I was 40. You do whatever you like. I don't leave. I want to build. I've been here to build. I didn't been here to destroy. And you know why? Because they don't like to work. Now he reaches a certain age. It's 2 years that he tells me that he wants to buy himself a Tesla. He goes around, he looks at the Tesla, he knows the price, he looks at the Tesla, he never buys it. Me, my wife, she took her off a Tesla. I went there, bought a Tesla, gave her a check to buy. Home, got another check. Almost she bangs it all. She needs another Tesla. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I never felt that I was rich, but I never missed the money to pay.
Well, that's a great trait to have, you know.
But you have to build it yourself. Nobody gives you nothing.
And did you have anybody
My wife and me.
besides Nonna? Obviously, I'm saying, did you have anybody to really guide you and help you?
No,
Just you and
no,
yourself. You learned with the mistakes you made. You learned.
no. Nobody teaches you. There's nobody teaches you. Remember, do you know the Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
Just
Do
wa-
the.
just watch that movie and you see if anybody can save you. They take all of the money that you got in your pocket.
Who?
Anybody that wants to teach you, there's no one. No one. You do it yourself. You must have a little has that fa, yeah, che fa parte della job, and you have to really, really be involved on whatever you do, and you really believe on whatever you do. You have to believe on whatever you do, and if you believe on whatever you do and you work, you cannot miss. You can miss. There's people that they make $1 million. Like now, you go to now we're going and we're seeing someone that is very important. That is the president of America, Trump. The guy, they even shoot him. He doesn't care. He's gonna do whatever he feels that is right for him. And he just in 5 months built 2 billion 400,000 $400 million in 5 months from
Yeah.
two
Now he's
million two
printing.
hundred to two. So the man is 80 years. He's 80 years old. He didn't make 200,000. He make 2 1 million. He make 2 billion. That is every billion is a mille milione
With a B.
with the B.
With the B.
He made 2 billions
In
and
5 months.
in 5 months and 400 million. So you're telling me this is a guy that in 1980, like me, I was watching him, he was going bankrupt. This is a genie. Doesn't matter what it is. This is a guy that's been with the prostitutes. This is a guy that's been in the casino. This is a guy that he built in Manhattan. You know what that means?
New York.
But do you know what that means?
No,
A guy
explain
that
it. Mom,
builds
it's still recording, right?
a guy that builds in New York in the 1980s. He was with a whole branch like an octopus. He was paying everybody, and everybody was paying him to make good that he was supposed to pay. But that's my opinion. I'm not telling you whatever it is the truth. But if you look at him, He's not a man of the school, no matter what he tells you. He's a man of the street.
Business.
Prostitution, cards, casino, alcohol, nightlife, constructions. The worst mafia style that is involved. He made it in Manhattan. And anybody the American they talk it's because they are bullshit. They don't know what they say. He knows the way it is, and he's gonna make top 20 dies.
I believe that.
He never stops working.
Do you think? How do you think he's doing? Like, do you think he's going to be a good president?
It is for the States, for my opinion. For the Americans, if this guy wouldn't be there, they would go broke. They are broke. They got $36 trillion
Debt.
debts. They can't pay the interest. He put Elon Musk to do whatever he was doing. And Elon Musk did a good job. The only thing is that two chiefs, they cannot give orders. You need only one chief. And then they fall. But for a reason or another, they split. He goes on his way, he goes on his way. They don't need no money, both of them. Elon doesn't need a...
So, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's going to be a World War III?
No.
Why?
He's not a man of war.
Trump.
Already, if he was a guy of war, he wouldn't bomb Iran.
He wouldn't.
No.
Because he would want their...
He would do like the others 20 presidents.
That didn't do shit.
They didn't do shit. He said, okay, you don't do it, I give you 2 weeks. In 2 days, you went there, you destroy them.
Got the job done.
And he said, if you make a mistake, I'm going to come back. They didn't stop. Iran didn't stop because he's stronger. Stopped because he's afraid that Trump, he does whatever he says. And then there's no war. If he would make a mistake that he wouldn't do that, they would get together with Putin and would be a third world war. That's my opinion. Doesn't mean an opinion that in Europe.
Yeah, no, it's your opinion. You can speak your mind.
It's it.
That's it. That's all.
I don't think that. But to me, Trump is a good man to keep him far.
And what's the richest country in your opinion?
Richest country of the world, Switzerland.
Switzerland.
All money is there. What are you talking about? The other countries they can have, but they hold.
And what do you think about the technology? New technology.
AI. It's the best. That's whatever it's now and it's the future. Everything is gonna become different. We don't know where we're gonna end up.
So where do you see life like what do you see changing in 20 years from now?
It's so fast that I not even can say nothing.
Yeah,
it's
who fucking
it's
knows,
already
huh?
it's already we went with AI. They steal people in TV. The president shows up that gives you money if you just and somebody comes in and steals you the money. You make $250. That's a crooked thing that exists. I don't know why the ICAI, the ICA, the Interpol, the Italian, they don't know how to stop this thing. This is a joke. They're supposed to stop this, and they steal people. They steal the people at home. They change their voice. They send money. Oh no, you can call somebody that shows you that you need money, that you happen to use something, and they send you money because they change your voice. This is supposed to be, but they make the advertising that before that you send money to anybody, please talk to your nephew. Please talk to the police. Don't send money because they steal to you. But this is a fantastic thing, but it's a dangerous thing.
AI?
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing too.
Yeah, I mean, you could use it for good and bad. I mean, I use it all the time.
Yes,
It's how I passed high school.
I'm telling you, that it's good, but it's good and bad. Yeah, you're already using it to do whatever.
I use it all the time.
You don't need to write and read. You just ask.
Exactly.
You just ask Siri, and Siri tells you whatever. You just ask
ChatGPT.
Or ChatGPT or Google. You ask Google to go in a street. Before to find the street, I had to turn 2 hours. Now I go straight. It tells me where to go. It's a fantastic thing. We cannot say that before we were better than now. The new technology is something very, very, very important. And what happened tomorrow, we don't know, because they are so fast that they change that it's unbelievable.
What's one trait I have that reminds that reminds me of yourself?
Better why you're better than me.
But what's one trait that I have? I appreciate the compliment. What's one trait I have that reminds you of me? No, that reminds you of yourself. Do you get what I'm saying?
Reminds
Mom,
me.
how do I re
No, 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 no. I understood. What's something that reminds me of you or myself?
Yes, a trait.
A trade.
Trait.
You eat good like I used to do.
I eat good. That's not a trait.
A trade. A
A
trade.
trait like I don't know. Work ethic. I don't know.
You're not a worker.
I'm not a worker.
You're not a handy guy.
You're handy. You're still handy. Fuck.
Yeah, you're not a handy guy. But I'll tell you one thing, you can do things better than me. But if you are not a handy guy, you're going to get fucked up.
Why?
Because you have to learn how to do it yourself. Nobody gives you nothing unless that you do it yourself. You want to do something, do it yourself. And then somebody helps you. You make the guy do something, but you have to be there. Don't leave him, he's going to fuck you up. There's no ways. Too much jealousy around in the whole world.
A lot of jealousy.
And if you do something and if you become good, nobody likes that you are too good.
Because they're jealous.
I don't
They're
know
envious.
why, but that's what that's.
Would you say there was a lot of people jealous of you?
I'm lucky that I don't see that I don't grow.
Oh, that's funny.
It's the truth. Jealousy, it's something terrible.
What legacy do you want me to carry on forever?
Well, I would like that you do carry whatever I do, but I don't know if you can do.
What you do? Why not?
Because you are not a guy that you want to get involved. This is something that you have to go in the swimming pool. You have to throw yourself in.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go? Should we go? You want to go?
You know what I mean? You have to get involved on it.
Yeah.
Can't be. You can do 50%.
You got to go 200%.
Either you in this is to you.
You got to go balls deep.
This, yeah.
No.
This,
How do you say that in Italian?
Con tutte le palle aperte.
Che tu sei
Con le palle aperte.
con le palle
Aperte.
balls deep.
Yeah.
You got to go balls deep.
Juliano, real estate, it's the hugest thing that exists for the people in the earth. Everybody has supposed to have a house. Now we got so many homeless that people, they cannot pay the rent. We got around here in Montreal 3,000 people. They cannot rent because they have not the money to pay the rent. So real estate is something that's never gonna go back.
But how do they pay you the rent?
Because I am not a guy that I charge too much.
Can you say what you charge?
Yes.
What do you charge?
1,500, 1,600, 800, 700, depends on the apartment. I'm a cheap. If you go to my properties on the same different properties, like in Deerfield Beach, we charge what, $2,000 to the lady. Your mother says, why don't you take it for 2,500? Because
You don't get any problems. Like you get no
but you
problems.
have to give the money to the government. What's the use? Take it up from you and give it to them. You don't understand. They taking $500,000 a year. What's the use to rent the apartment? Do you understand?
I get what you're saying.
It's very hard to understand.
Well, no, because you got to really be in it to understand. That's the type of thing.
I make 1,200. 1,200. Ci devo portare $600.000 di spese. Ma come faccio spese? Mica posso sparare a casa, srubo per terra e faccio un'altra casa.
No.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And once that you paid your mortgage, you pay the tax.
And you own the property.
Yeah, but you pay. But the property doesn't belong to you no more. Belongs to the government.
How, after you pay the mortgage?
Mortgage. There's no mortgage no more. I have no mortgages no more. But I have the income.
Why? All right, we're losing storage. I'm gonna ask a couple fun questions just to wrap this up. You ready, Nonno?
Yeah.
Wine or espresso?
Always espresso.
Good for you. Sunday sauce or lasagna?
I'll take lasagna, but I'll prefer the meat.
Italy or Canada?
But Italy to visit all the time. It's my hometown. But Canada, I love it.
Who cooks better, you or Nonna?
No, no, she's the best. But I cook too.
And would you fight a bear for your family? Would you fight a bear for your family?
Always.
Good for you. Ti amo.
Thank you.